What's up guys, Firewolf here, and if you're running out of storage, juggling external drives, paying a lot for cloud storage, or need a central hub for all your content, it might be time to upgrade your setup with something more powerful, a NAS. And today, I'm showcasing one of the best options out there, the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 Plus. Huge thanks to UGREEN for sending this and sponsoring this video. Right now, they're running a 25% discount on their website and for Amazon Prime Day until July 11th. I'll drop the affiliate links down below. In case you don't know, NAS stands for Network Attached Storage, which is basically a compact server that connects to your home or office network and is designed to store, share, and manage your files. You can think of it like your own private cloud, but with faster speeds, no subscription fees, total control, and it's a cloud that you can actually see. Now take a look at this. I'm currently subscribed to iCloud Plus with 6 terabytes for $30 a month. Not only that, but I have a whole bunch of external SSDs and NVMe drives that I've been using to store my content, which not only gets expensive, but also makes it complicated to remember where everything is. This is where the UGREEN DXP4800 Plus comes in clutch. You can load up to 4 hard drives and 2 NVMe SSDs for up to an insane 112 terabytes of storage. And just in case you need more hard drive bays or maybe less, UGREEN has several options to meet your storage needs and budget. This UGREEN NAS is packing a 5-core Intel Pentium Gold 8505 CPU, dual Ethernet ports with one of them being 10 gigs, 8 gigabytes of DDR5 memory which can be upgraded to a max of 64 gigabytes, RAID configurations for speed and or redundancy, and it even has smart AI features that helps manage your photo album. With all this processing power, not even Google Drive, iCloud, or any other cloud storage providers can upload at up to 1,250 megabytes per second. Now, setting this whole network attached storage for the first time can be super intimidating, but UGREEN really makes the process super easy and smooth. And to show you how to set this up when you get your UGREEN NAS, let's unbox the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 Plus. It comes in this really nice looking black box. Move the styrofoam piece out of the way. Alright, there we have it here, the network attached storage here. Has a really nice dark finish and it looks very simple. So right on the front we have our 4 bays that are numbered from 1 through 4, which is really nice. You can easily click each one of these and be able to pull them out very easily. And also lock them with a key, which is pretty nice and convenient. On the bottom left, we have our power button with a couple of LED indicators over here, one for LAN and a separate LED indicator for each of the discs here. We also have an SD card here, is the SD 3.0. We have a USB-C port over here and a USB 3.2. Both of these are up to 10 gigabits per second, which is really nice. Side profile is very clean. And right on the back, we have our main fan. It comes with a magnetic dust mesh filter here that you can easily remove. What's pretty cool, it does have UGREEN right on the actual mesh filter, which is pretty nice. As the name suggests, it does magnetically snap onto the back to prevent dust from going inside. If you take a closer look at the fan here, it's a really nice size fan. And right in the bottom, we get an HDMI port, another USB 3.2A ports, 2 USB 2.0 ports, and we have dual Ethernet ports with LAN 1 being 10 gigabits per second and LAN 2 being 2.5 gigs. We have a reset button here, and then we have our power input over here. And right in the bottom, we have 2 Phillips screws here that you can easily remove and access 2 NVMe sockets, and also the RAM here, which is expandable up to 64 gigs, which is really nice and convenient as well. Further inside, they're going to give you an accessory box, which includes your user manual as well as your 2-year warranty. 2 Ethernet cables here that have a nice gold finish, and taking a closer look, these are category 7 Ethernet cables, a US plug which connects to this power adapter. They're also going to give you a Phillips screwdriver here with a set of screws. You also get 2 keys, so that way you can easily slide this in, turn it to the left, and have this completely locked, so that way I can't easily click on this. Without the lock, you can see how easy it is to just remove it. And finally, 2 thermal pads for when you install NVMe drives. Alright, so before I show you guys how to install your hard drive disk on your DXP4800 Plus, I want to quickly cover what type of hard drives you should look for. It's recommended to go for a NAS hard drive because these hard drives are meant to be ran 24/7 in a network attached storage. You can definitely still use standard drives, but the longevity and the stability is not going to be as reliable as a NAS hard drive. Now, UGREEN also has a compatibility list of supported hard disk drives, M.2 NVMe drives, memory, and they also have a RAID calculator that is super helpful in deciding your own setup. When choosing the storage capacity of your hard drive disk, if you're planning on using any type of RAID besides RAID 0. Make sure all of your hard drives are the same capacity to avoid unused data. So with that out of the way, UGREEN has sent over 4 of these 4 terabyte WD-Red Plus hard drives for a combined total of 16 terabytes. I'm also going to install an NVMe SSD, 2 terabytes, that I'm going to install on the bottom. Starting off with the first bay, I'm just going to go ahead and click this real quick. Pull this right out. Comes out very nice and smooth. So these bays support 3.5-inch hard drive disk, and they also support 2.5-inch solid state drives as well. But when it comes to installing the 3.5-inch hard drive disk, then it is very easy. You're gonna locate this little press button, and so we just press this down, slide it to the right, and now we can flip it back over. We want to grab our hard drive disk, locate the connectors on the bottom, and make sure when you're putting this on, the connector is facing on the bottom and not towards the end of this plastic. Once you have the correct orientation, you want to line up the top and the bottom screw. With these little 2 tabs, all you have to do is really just slide it in, just like that, and then you close the clamping system here. And once it's clamped, you'll notice that the hard drive disk is now secured to the bay. Now we're ready to slide it in, and to give you guys a close-up here, you'll notice the connector is on the bottom left, which is also going to mirror the connector on the bottom left. So all you have to do now is just slide it back in very easily, and then we just click it in. And so our first hard drive is installed, so I'm going to do the same thing for all the rest ones. So just pull it out, push this to the side, grab your hard drive, close the clamp, nice and secured, and you slide it back in, lock it into place, and that whole process is very easy. And just like that, we loaded up 4 hard drive disks in under a couple of minutes. Next up is installing an NVMe SSD. And to install the NVMe drive, I'm going to go ahead and lay this upside down and unscrew these 2 screws with a Phillips screwdriver or using the provided screwdriver that came inside the box. Once you have both screws loose, you can go ahead and remove this whole piece out of the way. And that's going to reveal 2 M.2 sockets, which supports up to 8 terabytes each. You're also going to find the RAM memory sticks over here, which supports up to a max of 64 gigabytes with 2 DIMM slots. And so I'm just going to show you guys how to install your M.2 SSD. And so before installing the M.2, you're going to notice a little screw over here. You want to go ahead and loosen that up. Go ahead and leave that to the side. You want to grab your NVMe, locate the notch, to make sure you match that notch with the notch on the socket. Go ahead and place your NVMe in an angle. Push that right in and use the screw that you just removed to lock it in place. And now we have our NVMe locked in. And before we close it off, we want to make sure you add this thermal pad to dissipate the heat. And so there's 2 little plastic pieces that you're gonna have to remove, one from the bottom and one from the top. And all you have to do is place this right on top of our NVMe. You can put it directly in the middle, and keep in mind that you can add an additional NVMe right over here. And now we're ready to close it off. Just go ahead and place the door back in and screw it back in. Now the last performance upgrade that can significantly improve your user experience is upgrading the RAM, and this comes with 8 gigabytes on a single RAM stick. And as you can see here, we have 2 slots, so we can have a max of 64 gigs. So I picked up a 32 gig kit here. Make sure when you're picking up the RAM, it is in the SO-DIMM form factor, which is similar to the ones that are used in laptops. And so to remove the original RAM stick, all you have to do is push this clip to the right, left clip to the left, and you're gonna notice this angle up, and then you can literally just take it right out. And this is the 8 gigabyte that was included. Make sure you don't mix and match. If you're gonna be using 2 RAM sticks, make sure they're part of the same kit. Don't wanna mix and match when it comes to this. And so if you're gonna be installing 2 RAM sticks, you wanna first start off with the bottom one. If you're just gonna be using one, make sure you also populate just the bottom one. And so since I have 2, I'm gonna start off with the bottom one. You wanna make sure, of course, we match to notch. With this min over here, you can see if I turn it over, the notches don't line up. So this is gonna be the correct orientation. We're going to angle it in. Push it right in, and then we can literally just push this in. Very easy. Same thing over here. Make sure the notches match up, and then lock it in. And that's pretty much it. All right, so once we have all of the hard drives loaded up, as well as any additional NVMe that you may want to add, it is now time to connect the power input and the Ethernet port. So right on the back, we have the power cable, and I also have 2 Ethernet cables connected to both the 10 gig port and the 2.5 gig Ethernet port. The beauty of the DXP4800 Plus is that it gives us a lot of different options and versatility of how we want to have this connected. How I have this personally set up currently is that I have the 10 gig Ethernet connected directly to my PC. My particular motherboard has dual Ethernet support, with one of them being 10 gig. So that's gonna give me maximum performance when it comes to transfers between my PC and the NAS. And then on the secondary Ethernet port, which is gonna be the 2.5 gig port, I have that connected directly to my router using the 2.5 gig port on the back of this router. Now keep in mind that the included Ethernet cable is going to be your standard 3 to 4 feet cable, which is perfect for connecting it very close to your router. But if you want to position your NAS in a different location that's very far, or in this case, since my PC is very close, the included cable is perfect. But if we were to step it back, my actual router is located all the way on the corner. So I personally just grabbed a 10 feet category 8 Ethernet cable, and that gave me enough space to have the UGREEN close to my PC. And I really wanted this to be close to my workspace to really get an idea how the sound profile is if you were to have this NAS close to your workspace. I can eventually move it all the way to the corner in the future, but for now, definitely want to test out the sound profile. So once you have your power cable connected and at least one Ethernet cable connected to your router, you can easily power it on in the bottom left. You just have to press and hold. And then you'll notice that all these lights start to flash, and that's indicating that the operating system is loading up and all of the hard drives are now being read and prepared. And one of the best features of the UGREEN NAS system is that they make setting this up very easy. So one way you could do it is using your computer, and you want to type in find.ugnas.com, and what that does is that it basically searches for devices in your current network. And then you can also start it up using your phone, whether that be an iPhone, an Android, or an iPad. All you have to do is download the UGREEN NAS application, and then you just click on new device registration. It's going to ask you for permissions for local network, so I definitely hit allow. And what that does is that it's going to detect your UGREEN NAS. Now going back to the browser setup for first time users, as long as both your UGREEN NAS and your PC or Mac are both connected to the same router, you should see the DXP4800 Plus, so just hit the connect button. Then you'll see your browser connected to that IP address, and you can then start the walkthrough by clicking start. Here you can rename your UGREEN NAS, and you'll have to create your own unique admin account. After that, you register a UGREEN cloud account for remote access using your email. Next, you're given a few system update options, and finally you have the initialize button, which will then start to load and configure your NAS, which takes 3 to 5 minutes. After that, your UGREEN NAS account is complete with a welcome message and a small walkthrough of the UGOS Pro user interface. You're then guided to the storage manager so we can activate our hard drives by creating a storage pool and a storage volume in a simple and easy way. When creating a storage pool, we'll find all of our hard disk and any M.2 NVMe SSDs that were added. Since I personally plan on using the NVMe as a separate drive or read cache, you can simply select only the hard drives. So in my case, the 4 Western Digital drives that have 3.6 terabytes of usable storage. After selecting your drives, you'll have to select which RAID type you want to go with. Now RAID stands for Redundant Array of Independent Disks, which basically combines all of your hard drives to act as one independent larger drive. And what I love about UGREEN Setup is that it goes over each RAID type, the advantages, how much storage capacity, and how much of your data is protected. If you want to use the max available storage, you could choose JBOD or RAID 0, but it does mean that if one hard drive goes bad, all of your data will be completely lost. To avoid that, we want to choose a RAID option that gives us protection if one of our drives fails. The only RAID option that gives you up to 2 hard drive failures at the same time is RAID 6, which requires 4 hard drives minimum and also eats up half our total capacity for that added protection. Or you can go for the recommended RAID 5, which only needs 3 hard drives minimum, and it also gives us the most available storage. So in my case, I would have 10.8 terabytes of usable storage. It's very rare to have 2 hard drives fail at the same time, so I'm okay with going for the RAID 5 option. Once you choose your RAID, you have 2 file systems that you can choose, ext4 or BTRFS. For most, the default ext4 is going to be the best option. Last screen is going to show us a preview of our setup, and once you're ready to hit that create and then type in your password, the UGREEN NAS will start creating your RAID, which will generally take a very long time to complete. Alright, after your NAS finally finishes synchronizing your storage, which in my experience took about 9 hours to complete, we now have an overview of our setup with an awesome blue check mark. Now, if you're only using hard drives, then you can continue to explore, or in my case, if you have an NVMe SSD, then we'll have to set that up by either clicking on hard disk on the left, or we can simply click on our M.2 slot, which will take us to a list of all of the hard drives and SSDs. Right on the bottom, we have the M.2, which shows us that it's not currently used, so just click on the 3 dots and then use. We'll have a few options for our NVMe, such as using it as an external storage, creating a new storage pool, or we can create an SSD cache to assist our main storage pool we just created for better performance. I'm personally going for the SSD cache, so after you select that, you then select your main storage pool, then select volume 1, which is the RAID 5 we just set up, and then we can select which cache mode to go for, which are read and write cache or read only cache. Since I only have one NVMe installed, the only option is read only cache, which will boost random read speeds of the whole pool, since hard drives have horrible random read speeds. If you want to have better random write speeds, you'll need to use 2 NVMe SSDs. Now once you select your cache, you then select your RAID type, and in this case, since I only have one, the only choice is basic. If you have 2 NVMe's for a read and write cache, then the RAID type that UGREEN will offer is RAID 1. Next, you select your NVMe, and here we need to allocate how much of our total capacity we want to reserve. Now, even though I have 1.8 terabytes of available capacity, you'll get a warning to use under 80% of the total to prevent data loss. And I did go back and change it to 1.2 terabytes, which should also help increase the reliability and the endurance of the NVMe. And last step is to confirm and format the NVMe. We'll now see the M.2 say SSD cache 1, so the setup process was super easy. Another awesome feature is the ability to access your storage anywhere using the UGREEN NAS application, which is available for Windows, Android, iOS, macOS, and even on Apple or Android TV. I can easily upload or backup my files from my iPhone to the UGREEN NAS and have it easily accessible on all of my devices that are only saved on my own private NAS. You can also view the status of your NAS, like being able to monitor your drives, temperatures, resources, and even have full control of creating storage pools, deleting volumes. I mean, this app truly gives you the full NAS experience. Now, the DXP4800 Plus has an AI Smart Album feature that lets you customize the AI model to recognize people, text, duplicates, scenes, pets, and even be able to personally train your AI model by uploading a specific object with multiple angles. For added privacy, the AI model runs locally without internet and won't upload personal data to online servers. So if I wanted to quickly search up all the wolf images that I have stored, I can simply type wolf and the AI would recognize what I'm searching for and show me all the related images. Alright, to show you guys how much faster the UGREEN NAS is at uploading files, we're going to compare it with Google Drive and iCloud Drive. Now right now I have the UGREEN NAS application open and we're going to upload a couple of video files. Now before we start, I want to first show you guys what I'm currently pulling right now. Using speed test, you can see the download is 888, but the most important number that we're going to look at is going to be the upload speeds, which I'm currently pulling about 544 megabits per second. Now that's very important because megabits is not the same thing as megabytes, so if we were to convert that into megabytes per second, we can see that currently my upload is about 68 megabytes per second. And so the first video that I'm going to drop in is going to be the Height Y70 Touch, which has a file size of 21.3 gigabytes, so it is a very large file. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop to Google Drive, and on the bottom right here it gives us an estimation of 11 minutes left. And what we're going to do here is we're going to drag and drop this file to our UGREEN NAS. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK, and we can see that it is currently uploading. We're going to open up the task manager, which is this over here, and then we can see the progress of the upload over here. We can see that we are uploading at 607 megabytes per second, and now that is an insane number because it is way higher than megabits as we saw earlier. And so we're already at 60% completed, and if we go back down to the Google Drive, we can see it is still uploading. I want to say that's 15%. Let's go back to the UGREEN NAS over here. We can see we're already at 95% completed. And guys, this is a 21 gigabyte file. We can see it is already completed. Let's go ahead and jump back to the folder, and we can see the file is right over here. So I can go ahead and double click and it'll automatically start playing.
Firewolf here,
and as you can see, we have the whole 1 hour and 35 minute video here. I'm going to lower down the volume here a little bit. But you can see I can go ahead and skip through the 40 minutes, hour and 31. We can see that it is very fast and very speedy. Meanwhile, if we go back to the Google Drive, probably about 40% is already done. So still has a very, very long way to go, and we are already done. All right, so now let's go ahead and put it against the iCloud Drive. And this time I'm gonna give a handicap by uploading a very small video file. This one has a file size of 2.66 gigabytes, and I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop on the iCloud Drive. And as it's uploading here, you can see a little progress circle over here. And what I'm going to do on the UGREEN NAS, I'm going to go ahead and select these two video files, which totals up to 33.2 gigabytes, and we're going to drag and drop. I'm going to hit OK. We have the task managers. Go ahead and open that up real quick. And we can see both files are uploading very quickly, and we can see the speed is split off into both of them being about 300 megabytes per second. So in total, it is pulling 600 megabytes. We can see this smaller file at 2.66 barely moving. And so it really depends on which drive servers you use, but iCloud Drive right now is not looking good. Meanwhile, over here in UGREEN NAS, we're already at 90% completed. And what I like about this is that it is doing this simultaneously on both video files. Instead of waiting for just one, it kind of just estimates it to have them completed at the same time. So you can see both of these are completed almost at the same time. We can go to our files over here. I'm gonna hit refresh, and we can see both files already there. I can go ahead and double click. Automatically loads up our video file. Same thing with our second one here. And as you can see, we have uploaded 30 gigabytes super quick. Meanwhile, iCloud Drive, I mean, at that point, I might as well just hit cancel and not even bother. Now let's talk about pricing and whether or not having this UGREEN NAS makes financial sense for you. With UGREEN's 25% discount promotion, the DXP4800 Plus would be about $525, and if we use the same 4TB Western Digital Red Plus, which are currently about $100 each, if you wanted to run the same RAID 5 configuration that I did, you only need 3 hard drives to start, so $825 total will get you 7.2 terabytes of usable storage, and then $925 for 4 hard drives, and you get 10.8 terabytes of usable storage. If you wanted to improve the read and write performance, a Gen 4 NVMe can be anywhere from $100 to $150 for 2 1 terabyte NVMe's, and upgrading the memory up to 64 gigs can be anywhere from $40 to $150. For my same exact setup with 2 2 terabyte NVMe's and 32 gigabytes of memory, we have a total of $1,300 plus tax, which upfront is a lot of money. But if we compare this NAS with cloud pricing, you can clearly start to see how much you can save in the long run. At the time of this video, 6 terabytes of iCloud Plus storage is $30 a month, with their current highest option, 12 terabytes, is $60 a month. Now these are prices that are currently being shown to me, but in Apple's official site, the price shown is slightly higher, which means these prices might not always be the same. I'm also only limited to just 12 terabytes, but on this UGREEN NAS, I could go as high as 65 terabytes of usable storage, assuming I get 4 24 terabyte hard drives running RAID 5. I'm not saying you should completely eliminate iCloud storage or your phone's native cloud storage like Samsung Cloud or Google One, because I personally think those are great for backing up all your mobile files seamlessly. But you could reduce a subscription tier or not upgrade to an even higher tier, since building out your own personal storage lets you keep all the bulky stuff in your NAS, keeping your device's storage nice and light. So after setting up my first network attached storage and experience a simple and hassle-free setup, I think the UGREEN NASync DXP4800 Plus is perfect for beginners. Now yes, there's a lot you can do with this NAS, with so many different ways to configure, customize, even load up a completely different operating system and make this do so much more. But for most of you guys that want simple storage, remote access, and an easy way to upgrade your NAS, the DXP4800 Plus does an amazing job. For me, this not only solves my storage problems, but I now have a way more advanced, secured, and private setup that helps with my content creation workflow. If you're interested in this UGREEN NAS or other UGREEN models, I'll leave affiliate links down below, which does help and support my channel. I want to thank UGREEN for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to check out their 25% sale happening right now until July 11th. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Firewolf out.